Hey there, YouTube, JR Juggernaut1 here, and I don't normally do this kind of thing, but I wanted to do this for fun just because I had a lot of fun with this event today. I'm going to do a deck profile slash tournament report of the Battle Pack Sealed tournament I went to today. This was a lot of fun. I think this pack is definitely an improvement over the first Battle Pack, like I said in my previous video, because there's just less shenanigans going on. And while I did feel like the stuff I lost to today was really stupid things, I think had I built my deck a little differently, a bit more effectively, my experience probably would have been better. Uh, Basically, just to do a quick report, I ended up starting off 2-0. It was a 4-round tournament. There were 14, I think it was like 15 of us, something like that. I ended up winning my first two matches relatively easily. My third match, my last two matches both went into game three. The first one I lost because basically I blew up the field with Dark Lord Zerato, and then summoned at the end phase Interplanetary Purple Thorny Dragon, and he eventually found a way to get over it. And then I lost because I drew like 3 tribute monsters in a row, and it was just really, really painful. So I just was bummed out. I would have won game 2 against him, and we wouldn't have even had to go into game 3. But I was at too low life points to play my Star Blast, which, well, sorry about that. I was at too low life points to play Star Blast, so that ended up being a problem. Um, and then my fourth round match, I was on tilt at this point, so that was a bit of a problem. But I knew I was going to top if I won this match just because of tiebreakers. Plus, only one. We found out at the end only one X1 didn't make top four, so wasn't. Yeah, there was. It was pretty much like just win it. It's all or nothing right here. Unfortunately, I pretty much ran into a situation where game three. Well, game one, I was pretty much, I just drew nothing but tribute monsters for a while, and I just couldn't do anything. And then game three, I drew an okay hand, but I couldn't get past an Ultimate Tyranno that he played. And by the time, and I was basically stuck with a Star Blast and a Mausoleum of the Emperor, and that was unfortunate because I just couldn't, I was hoping I'd draw into a tribute monster, but he beat me down so quickly that it didn't even matter. Like, I just couldn't do anything. So yeah, I came in seventh, and shit happens. I guess it is what it is. It was frustrating, but I had a good time nonetheless. Um, but yeah, first place was like a Greg Abbey signed, like was a Yusei Fudomat signed by Greg Abbey. And they got some credit. Second, third, and fourth got credit. So would have been nice to top, but oh well. Sometimes things just don't always work out the way you want it to. Anyway, now that I'm done rambling for these past 3 minutes, I am going to get to the deck profile and just explain, based on everything, what my card choices were. So for the monsters, I played, I believe, 22. I played one card Cardi. This card is really good. I don't think it's a card I would have been happy with if I had a second one of, but it's very good turn one, obviously. And it can even be good later in the game, sometimes just because of the way the match just tends to be a grind game. One Tardy Work, another great turn one play. Didn't get it turn one very often, but was useful. It definitely was a hard to get over card, so that was good. One Hedge Guard, just very good. This one of the advantages that people forget about Hedge Guard is the fact that it can be used during damage calculation. That ends up being very relevant because if your opponent plays Primal Roar, which is probably one of the best cards in this entire set, it ends up being just a very powerful card overall. Botanical Lion, just the fact that it can't be controlled is for the most part irrelevant, but a 2000 wall 1900 beats deck is good. Zombra the Dark, this card I liked, but it is, its effect is kind of annoying, but, it did more good for me than harm. One Doomcow, never really took advantage of this card, but it was very useful, nonetheless. Drillroid, I love this card. There aren't too many cards your opponent's going to set, but just the fact that, you can just deal with a lot of important threats is nice. Xarian Universe, the piercing ability is relevant when your opponent's playing something like Scapegoat or Hamstrat, so I like that. The same thing kind of goes for the Machine Lord Just the fact that your opponent can have a lot of like monsters at a time, just you want to be able to clear them. And it's also very relevant because you can pump this guy up and then all of a sudden he's just able to get over everything, and even if he can't inflict damage, that ability to attack everything is just good. Gene Warped Warwolf, Vanilla 2000 Beat Stick, why not? And Steamroid, which was just a 2300 beat stick. Those were my level 4 lower monsters. You'll notice that I didn't play a ton of them, but to be honest, that was mostly because a lot of the other monsters I had were just special summonable and, easy enough to use, or at least so I thought. I think I couldn't, it wasn't really a problem, but I could have made slight adjustments that would have made that ratio better. For the special summonable cards that were above level 4, I played Exodius. The ability to recycle monsters can be relevant if you run out of, especially in this deck, like if you run out of a lot of your level 4s, you really want to have this guy in to put him back in. So that's good. Power Giant was alright. Power Giant's effectiveness in your deck is really going to depend on what kind of discard fodder you have. I didn't have any good discard fodder, so obviously his effectiveness was pretty limited. One Solar Windjammer, I really didn't like this card all day, I'm not gonna lie. The fact that most of the time when I wanted to tribute summon a monster, I already had something out, so this was kind of a problem. One Phantom Dragon, which I wish I had other cards I could have played, because this card is okay, but you know that there's not so much special summoning involved in this format, so it makes it difficult to get this guy out. Last but not least, probably the best two of them all, 2 Interplanetary Purple Thorny Dragon. This was the only monster I had 2 of. Card was really good. A 2200, just because it's a 2200 beater, and it replaces my monster. That came in handy. It caught my opponents off guard in many cases. Really strong card overall. And the fact that it could, just a monster could be destroyed by card effect or by battle is nice. And lastly, my 5 tribute monsters that were... basically, you need to tribute summon them. They were 7 or higher. Was Dark Lord Zerato. I got this guy's effect off twice. It was very useful in both those situations. Just really like, you play enough Darks for discard fodder. I wish it didn't destroy itself at the end phase because of it, but oh well, it is what it is. Photon Wyvern, I liked this card. There were a few cases where I just popped like 2 to 3 of my opponent's set cards, and that'd be pretty awesome. Splendid Venus. This card, pretty awesome just because it's one of the hardest monsters for your opponent to get over without using some kind of equipment. Like, they could drop a tribute monster of their own, but it's most likely going to be weaker than Venus. Hyper Ancient Shark Megalodon. I liked this card, but it was I didn't get to really capitalize on its effect. But if I had to cut one of the monsters in here, I'd probably cut Wyvern. The last one I definitely wouldn't cut, which is White Knight Dragon. This card is amazing, people. Do not forget that. The ability that it can't be targeted by spells and traps is amazing. The ability that it can redirect attacks from your opponent's cards is also amazing. There's just a lot to really like about this card, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So yeah, I would probably cut Wyvern, or would have cut Wyvern, excuse me. But other than that, I was pretty satisfied with the monster lineup. For these spells, I only played 7 spells, very few. I played Star Blast. Even with only 3 or 4 tribute monsters, this card is really good. But you just want to have some tribute monsters. For that reason. You just pay 500 times the amount of levels you want to reduce it by. If it's a level 7, you don't have to pay as many levels. But yeah, good card nonetheless. One Shrink. Pulled this off a lot. Just a very nice combat trick. One Big Bang Shot. I don't think I actually resolved this. I don't think I drew it at all. Or I know I at least didn't resolve it all day. But it would have been good too. Just that extra boost. Fighting Spirit. This card was very handy. I think Fighting Spirit is one of the more underrated equip spells because something you have to note is that a lot of this format, a lot of the tricks in this game, it's all about combat tricks. So Fighting Spirit really does come in handy for that reason. You can run into something, and even if your opponent has a way of winning the battle, Fighting Spirit allows you to protect that monster from battle. So you end up being, it ends up being a satisfying result. Pot of Duality, just because not much special summoning. Malevolent Nuzzler, just as an equip spell. I like the extra boost, and the best spell of my that I pulled was Premature Burial, which I did get to use to awesome effect numerous times. And finally, the traps, which I played 11 of. I'm going to go through this quickly because I'm seeing how much time's going on. Rising Energy, Prideful Roar, just great combat trick. Just trying to see, did I have anything else in terms of combat tricks? Oh, Half Counter. These were just my major combat tricks. I did have Kunai with Chain as well for extra defense, but that wasn't really so much of a combat trick, I guess. Curse of Anubis, which was alright. Arguably it lost me my round 3 match, but I don't know, I still think I didn't really have better options. Space Gate, this is an interesting card. I did resolve the effect of it to bring out a big tribute monster once, but it's one of those cards where I played it more because of like space, and because like there weren't really better cards I could use. Oh, by the way, we had to build 40 card decks as opposed to 30, so which I liked more, but yeah, that did mean some cards kind of went in here more because I had to play 40 cards. No Entry. This was probably one of my favorite traps. It's basically almost like a Wabaku or a Threatening Roar, but it switches their monsters to defense mode, so that can make it easier for them to get over next turn. The one trap monster I had was Stronghold of the Moving Fortress. I wish I had more cards like that, honestly. One Miracle's Wake, which is really good if you have like some good tribute summon monsters like I do. Unfortunately, I never needed to use it to that kind of effect. Sinister Seeds, this was the only trap that I know for a fact I would definitely cut. It doesn't really do much for you because you don't, benefit much off it. You're rarely going to take a lot of damage where it's going to be worth it to use it, so yeah, there's that. And then Zero Gravity, because just, it's a good attack stopper. The last 10 cards, which were my side deck, I felt kind of stupid about one of the cards I didn't include. Submarine Roid probably would have made room for it, but I can't say that for certain. The one card I definitely would have made room for is Truck Roid. I got so much crap for not playing this card because, quite frankly, I didn't think it was that good. I think if it had a little more attack, it'd be better, but 1,000 attack is just alright. Here's the thing, though. I didn't have that many ways of enhancing its attack. So because of that, I didn't feel so comfortable playing it. Granted, had I gone back in time, I would have definitely played it, but, it is what it is. I did pull a Megalo. Most people didn't play Megalo. You really only needed to play Megalo if you had good ways of utilizing it, like if you had Sinister Serpent and Dragon Ice, or if you just didn't have bigger level 7 or level 8 monsters. I didn't play Spell Striker, but this was only because I did not get many spells, and the same thing goes for Mythical Beast Cerberus. Had there been more spells in my arsenal, I definitely would have played both of these cards. Shield and Sword, didn't really see much of a need for it, but might have been more useful. Mausoleum of the Emperor, I originally was siding this in some of my matches, but to be honest, it rarely ever did anything for me. You really don't need it because you just don't need that kind of effect. The other problem is your opponent can use it too, so even if you don't go minus using it, you do have to keep that in mind. It can be a problem for you. And finally, Rope of Life. Thing is, if Rope of Life could be used when you have no hand, I think I'd play it. But just knowing that I didn't want to give up my hand for this card was, made me go against it. Miniaturize, I basically, this card's fine, but I didn't play it because I had better cards to put in. Labyrinth of Nightmare, I didn't like this card in terms of its continuous nature. If maybe there's some uses people have that I'm not thinking of, but for me, I just could not see I saw no reason to play it. So that was my deck, guys. Just to give you an idea, again, of, like, what stuff's good, what isn't. There's plenty of good cards I didn't get. Like, it's very easy to have a decent pool in this set. So whatever you get, you could try to make it work. Like I said, I think I just wish I had more cards that would have allowed me to summon my tribute monsters more easily. I liked the amount of defense I have, but I think at the same time, that proved to be a problem in the monster department. So, tell me what you guys think of Battle Pack 2 in the comment section below. Again, leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.